ọmọ ológun tó délé ṣe ọdúnmọ̀ dúpẹ́ orí àdúgbò. Ọmọ lọ́jọ́ ó ní ìjọba kò dúpẹ́ orí àdúgbò. Orí àdúgbò.
As an activist, he himself, an activist. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming our chairman, Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Honorable Minister of Interior, Comrade Rauf Aregbesola, Lanre and his wife, comrades and friends, I'm delighted to be asked to chair this occasion. One of those schools by Lanre Arogundade, not sure that they'll be here throughout the day. They decided to make me the chairman so that I won't be able to run away. Now, Lanre, I congratulate you, join your friends and comrades and family members. I congratulate you for joining the club of sexagenarians. I see many of your senior comrades here. Now that you have become a senior citizen, to whom much is given, much is expected. When we were undergraduates, the Eagles, Super Eagles lost a match. And one of our comrades wrote, how do you expect them to win with their visual legs? Now, I didn't know that Lanre has such visual legs as I just saw him perform this afternoon. But in spite of all his efforts, his wife beat him. Thank you, madam. can tell you, I have mixed feelings to be here on this occasion. Feelings of elation and feelings of sadness. I'm happy I've met many of our people here, many of our comrades and friends, colleagues, and people with whom we're at the university. And I thank you, Lanre, for bringing us together on this occasion. And it's a thing of joy, particularly in another developed country like our own, to mark one's 60th birthday. It's out of luck because the lifespan for men is 52, while that of women is 49. So it's extra in your year. So we congratulate you. Please, can we give him a round of applause? And on this occasion, I must thank and congratulate his wife. Without a diligent wife, without a dedicated companion, and without a loving sister and friend, Lanre could not have succeeded. Because if you meet hostility in the home, there is no way you can succeed as a man. So, madam, sure. I'm particularly happy that you have fed my friend very well all the time. You feed him very well. Only one story where Lanre put me in trouble. I never told him this one. Lanre was Nan's president. Unlike this day, we didn't have the advantage of internet at that time. So Lanre will issue a statement from Ife and send it to me to send around the media houses. So this particular statement had just arrived. And it was in my press pocket. So my plan was to leave the court, type it and send it out. As I was leaving the court, I was arrested. So the statement, the serious accident was in my pocket. So when they were going to take me to Awolowo, but before then, they took me to the State Security Service office around the passport office in the country. And in this office has a very heavy role. So when they left me to think of what to do, I took out Lanre's president that would have put me in serious trouble and quickly buried it all that door. And that was what saved me on this occasion. He put me in trouble on other occasions, but that's just one of them. Lanre is a very dedicated Nigerian. I can give that testimony anywhere. In the church, in the political terrain, or wherever. Because I've known him for not less than 40 years. And it takes a lot of efforts in this society to be consistent. Because there are a lot of implications. Some of them very dangerous. Now, while we are celebrating today, and as I see in the hall, many of our comrades from Idowu Obasa was our senior, they left us in the movement. We left the movement for Lanre and others. I'm just wondering, of course, our minister was in Lebanon, but we're all members of the Patriotic Youth Movement of Nigeria. And at that time, we had dreams, but those dreams have been shattered by a reckless ruling class, short-sighted, unpatriotic, totally irresponsible. Lanre, your task and mine, as we are honoring you today, as we are joining our club, is how do we redouble our efforts to ensure that we have a generation that will keep up the task of redeeming our country. As we're gathered here, the ASU is on strike. Lanre, during your time, it was unthinkable for university lecturers to be on strike for 8 months. That is our fate. I'm not going to be tempted here to disclose to you the legal advice that I'm going to give to the ASU members. That is guided by confidentiality. But I can assure all of us here that we are going to get to the end of this strike very soon. And I can also disclose to you that the struggle of ASU is likely to be won or concluded outside the courtroom. That I can assure you. I also can say without any fear of contradiction that we may be talking of a number of hours, not days or weeks, that the strike will be concluded. I was asked to make an undertaking in court on Friday that this strike will come up. And I told the judges, I am not in a position to make an undertaking. I didn't call a strike, so I cannot make an undertaking. The court made its own order. And it's one of those most troubling areas of legal practice for me. When a revolutionary lawyer is asked to give advice to striking workers to call up their strike, very difficult. Because you have to consider many areas. On one occasion, the late Chief Lanre and my humble spent 6 hours to convince the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress to call off a particular strike. 6 hours. And you know, Chief Lanre played a fast one when our comrades refused. If they want to jail us, let them jail us. And Gani said, Comrade Adams, sure. We are not going to be able to defend you in court unless you can have an agreement today. I can assure you, we are not likely to get to that level with respect to us. Lanre, okay, one of our MCs, I think the lady, is trying to speak Yoruba. Òkùsọ́, wọ́n lé ẹni tá a bá pàgbọ́n lórí rẹ̀. Onídúró jẹ wà á dúró jẹjẹ lónìí. Lanre ojú oró ní lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mi. Ilé tòun. Ìwọ́dọ̀ máa ń borí àwọn ọ̀tá rẹ o. Ìlú yà lọ síwájú lójú rẹ o. Ààrẹ rẹ náà o. Àtàwọn ọmọ ẹ àtàwọn ará ilé gbogbo wa ààrẹ rẹ orí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà o. Àwọn òjèlú láìpẹ́ ọjọ́ wọ́n á dẹni ẹ̀yìn. Àwọn tó fẹ́ tùlù ṣe la máa rí ní 2023 o. Ṣùgbọ́n iṣẹ́ wà fún ẹ o Lanre. Iṣẹ́ wà fún wa o Lanre. As I congratulate you on this occasion, I want you to assure me today that you are not going to look back. But we have got a new stage, Lanre, and that is to rededicate ourselves to the socialist reconstruction of our country. Whether they like it or not, there is no way out. The country has collapsed. respect to the honorable minister here, our country has collapsed. And it's not something you can manage. One of the presidential candidates says we need a real driver. No, the engine is gone. So we need to replace the engine of the car and if possible, replace the car of Nigeria. Therefore, Lanre, therefore, in this struggle for a new country, you are 60. Àṣẹ àádọ́rin ọgọ́rùn-ún Lanre. Can I go on? Madam wants me to go on. And the two of you will remain with each other for long. Continue to enjoy your life in peace and in love. Children, you will know your children's children in this world. At that level, it will be a better Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And welcome you all with this speech. Comrades, friends, and close associates had long called on me to document the interventionist and leadership role we played in the student movement in the early and mid-1980s. The cause became strident when the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, became totally hijacked by state-sponsored elements, and NANS conventions became battlegrounds for exchange of bullets instead of the traditional polemics, which was the tradition that the Chris Mamas of this world, the Chris Tabashis of this world, the Ngozi Ojidos and now Ngozi Iweris of this world left for us. They are all on the audience, and I'm indirectly saying, please appreciate them. I had my 58th birthday in 2012, therefore, I went to work to have a memoir published. But a combination of factors made the dream impossible. That is why we're here gathered in 2022 for the launch of my student unionism memoir. This event, therefore, is not deliberately timed, yet the symbolism, or perhaps the poetic nature of its occurrence, is discernible. And here I like to recall what Fela said when he was launching his album, where he sang about Shena President Shagari alone they go old, how about the other presidents too. Fela said he composed that song when military leaders called themselves head of state. But by the time the record was coming out, Babangida had taken over power and he had named himself president. And Fela said, "Na so my music dey be o, you go just wait for one corner and you go just catch them." So what is this symbolism I'm talking about? Firstly, in power now is General Muhammadu Buhari, under whose military government we resisted attempts at the introduction of fees as part of a grand scheme to commercialize education, which had commenced under the previous Shehu Shagari-led federal government of the National Party of Nigeria. While we succeeded in stopping the planned hike in fees via the introduction of tuition, we lost the battle to retain the subsidized feeding and housing system for students of institutions of higher learning. Now the second symbolism. Secondly, as this book presentation takes place under this second General Buhari government, the academic staff union of universities is in the thick of titanic battle to save tertiary education based on the twin demand for adequate funding of the system and adequate remuneration of the academic staff, particularly as agreements reached in this regard have been serially breached. There have been arguments here and there over whether ASU has overplayed the strike card by allegedly refusing to consider other options, as if the agreement at the center of the dispute was not a product of negotiations in the first instance. To the extent that no struggle is ever perfect, ASUU cannot but have its shortcomings. Let us not forget, however, that it was not ASUU that made the federal government under the military to take over the universities. Universities in Nigeria were never used not to be federal universities. You had University of Ife, you had University of Ibadan, you had all of them before the military took them over. That takeover meant that their autonomy and independence were removed, and they are able to enjoy all this, including the right to admit their own students. It is just like the unitary form of government we are running in the name of democracy. And it is not ASUU that said government should not implement the agreement it reached. Amidst the ongoing debacle, it strikes me as ironic the way and manner the emergence of CONUA, C-O-N-U-A, is being celebrated by some elements who seem to be under the illusion that once ASUU is decimated or crushed, the problem of the universities will disappear. Nothing can be further from the truth, because what CONUA promoters represent in the final analysis are strike-breaking scabs, which employers of labor have historically used to stop genuine agitations. Fela, in one of his songs, in any case, I wrote a book on Fela, so don't be surprised if I keep quoting Fela, sang about condoms, scallywag nonsense. To borrow from him, I say of the strike-breaking outfit, CONUA scallywag nonsense. It is interesting that through its recent protests in Lagos, some sections of NANS have spoken loudly in support of the struggle of ASUU, while also demanding that something be done to ensure that education is not priced out of the rich of the poor, to avoid being left only to the rich. Does this development suggest the beginning of the rebuilding of NANS? It will be good if we can hope so. The epilogue of the book is actually devoted to the issue, and I would prefer to leave the book reviewer, Professor Rotimi Olatunji, to do justice to the details. Suffice to stress that if the student unions and NANS will have to be properly rebuilt, then it must be on the basis of a return to the tradition of ideological orientation to the working class and re-embrace of the accountability of the leadership to the followership in all its ramifications. There is no way a NANS whose president and other leaders drive around in customized vehicles worth millions of naira, if not billions, followed by a retinue of personal assistants, which we never had, can claim to represent the interests of rank and file students. As the statement between ASUU and the federal government lingers, what cannot be denied is that thousands of students and their parents are being subjected to avoidable hardship with the continued closure of the universities. I therefore call on the federal government to see the issues at stake beyond legal victories and do the needful to meet the key demands of ASUU so that students can return to the classrooms. This book is not about me alone. It is also about a generation of student activists and student unionists who, in addition to their academic pursuits, fought not just for the rights of fellow students, but also for the radical transformation of Nigeria. Many of them are in this audience, and like the chairman said, including the Honorable Minister of Interior, the Dakodori Yomis, the Gabriel Barra Adumus, and so on and so forth. I salute their courage, zeal, patriotism, and revolutionary commitment. As I researched and assembled the materials, I discovered to my shock and regret that many of them are no more with us. I have dedicated this book to few of them, including Sheikh Bishogo, friend, comrade, confidant, and founding general secretary of my organization, Democratic Socialist Movement, Christopher Pagemifo, former president of the University of Ife Students Union, Chris Abashi, my immediate predecessor as NANS president, he was president 1983, and Chima Ubani, former president of University of Nigeria Students Union, and former secretary of Campaign for Democracy. I've dedicated the book to them and all other heroes. But for the fact that I dedicated my book, Media and Elections, Professional Responsibility of Journalists, to him, I would also have included my father, Thomas Akiyemi Arogundade, aka Akiyomikoko, in the current list. Without his belief in good education and devotion of resources to attain the end for his children, brothers and cousins, many of whom are in this audience, my destiny might have been different. Akiyomikoko passed on in 2012, and it is significant that this publication is coming out on the occasion of the 10th anniversary of his transition to the Celestial Realm. On this note, may I respectfully request that we stand up to observe a minute silence for the above heroes of mine and ours. May their souls rest in peace. I remember struggle, water run away me, water run away me, water run away me, when I remember struggle, I remember struggle, water run away me, water run away me, water run away me, water run away me. When I remember Chimaubani, I remember struggle, water run away me. When I remember Prince Abashi, I remember struggle, water run away me. When I remember Kabashono, I remember struggle, water run away me. When I remember Mekotuti, I remember democracy, water run away me. Water run away me, water run away me, water run away me. Finally, as stated in the acknowledgement, the journey to this destination has been long, and I am glad that in this audience are those who have made it possible. While appreciating you all, let me especially recognize my siblings and aunties from my roots, and I want all of them to please stand up. The Arogundade Ogini family of Ijebu-Jesha, Idesha, if you belong to that family, please stand up. The Adebua and Ayoade family of Ijebu-Jesha, please stand up and belong to that family. And the Abu family of Iwoye-Jesha. I appreciate my friends and associates, comrades, and staff of the International Press Center. Please stand up wherever you are. These are my pillars. And one of the people standing, that my uncle there, Uncle Dr. Ayoade, I used to spend my long vacation with him. And on one occasion, we used to fear him a lot. If this my uncle calls one of my cousins, his name is Kennedy, that he must not be pronounced before he jumps to his front. And he said, before the he, they are already there. So we were afraid of him. But one day I stood at his bookshelf and I was just looking at the books. I didn't know he was standing behind me. You know, he's a six-footer. So when I turned, I panicked, then he smiled. He said, do you like reading? I said, yes. He said, okay, let me look for a book to give you. And he brought out of his shelf one book, Not Safe to Be Free, by James Ali Chase. That book changed my worldview about reading. I owe him a lot. Please let me appreciate it. Please, you can see that. And now, finally, ladies and gentlemen, to join me in appreciating a very special person in this audience. She is my mother. She is our mother. And I'm talking of the mother of Titilayo, Ayodele Lanre, Olamide, Adesola, Ayode Sapling, and her book is still coming. Their book was smiling when I said it's Sapling Day. She told us the story of how my dad traveled to Sapling. You know, in those days you have to travel distances to go and move. And when they were, in those days there was no bridge across River Ethiopia. But my mother was already a swimmer, she could mark the canoe. So she went to take my dad from the other side. And when they were crossing, when they got to the middle of River Ethiopia, she now told my dad, he said, supposing this canoe should just capsize. And my dad said, Madam, Lord Jesus. To win and train us. She is the mother whose prayers, struggles, and affections for me has manifested in different ways you would read about in the book. She is the woman who, in the early days of the dream to become an Akọ̀wé, I insisted must follow me to watch my performance. In those days, at Lanre, we do end of the year entertainment. And anytime they ask me which role I will play, I will say that is Akọ̀wé. If they give me any role, I will be there and I will cause the headmaster. And anytime she's in the audience, I will probably hold the Bible and the paper like this, and I will just sing that song. Ẹ̀yẹ̀ baby, Akọ̀wé baby, yóò ṣe Akọ̀wé. Ìkọ̀wé kí gbogbo kí kọ̀lé kí gbéyàwó kí gbéyàwó kí gbéyàwó. Akọ̀wé baby, yóò ṣe. That was the song, and of course, all our prayers. Ladies and gentlemen, she's Lion Arogundade, a great symbol of that same band. I hope you are right. The band, please. A great symbol of that same. Orishabiya Kosi.
With your hand. Lanre Arogundade, who has decided to present this book to celebrate and mark the 60th birthday of that. By the book, I'm sure, he is counting his blessings and naming them one by one. Firstly, I wish our celebrant and presenter a happy birthday, living up to 60 years anywhere in this world, particularly in our climate, is no mean feat. We can only congratulate you and wish you and your loved wife and children many happy years ahead in good health. Secondly, Professor Mahmoud Yakub, the chairman of INEC, who have been invited as special guest of honor for this occasion. He is my chairman of boss. By the way, I'm the resident electoral commissioner in Ogun State. He had planned and his wish was to be here personally, but is otherwise again outside the country for other important assignments. He sends his apologies. Before I attempt to delve into the book, which I'm yet to cite and read, I need to say a little I know about the presenter, who is the director of the National Press Center. He is a prolific writer, and he is the author of Media and Elections. He is a distinguished Nigerian journalist, media trainer, activist. I opine that Mr. President Buhari was on point in his congratulatory message to Lanre and he praised him for the role he has played and is still playing in equipping and protecting journalists. I am delighted to be here, and so would have been a special guest to hear and then the privilege to pick a copy of the book and read, breaking coconuts on your head. The metaphor we are used to is that whosoever coconut falls on his head does not eat of it. The caption of this book, however, reminds me of one of Fela's works when John said, Yanga will wake up. Without having to have read this book, I can situate it in context. It is, in my humble view, nation building. The contribution and perspective of an ex-president of the National Association of Nigerian Students. There is no better person to have been invited to chairman this launch than the Lanre who was PRO our days at Ife. Till date, he too, as well as many people have started here today, are still breaking coconuts with their heads. With that, I will say that we wish the celebrant of today and his lovely wife and children more glorious years ahead. Thank you.
On matter of fact, I was there in Kenya. All our friends were here. It's not for me to talk here. I'm the talker. I'll sing two songs. Please emphasize my commitment and solidarity. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for life. Solidarity It's not standard. It's easy for people of conviction to follow through their conviction. And I can repeat that it's easy. Those who you must offend that people who never even understood what it was you were getting into and still remain faithful to the community. So what? Cover as well, a young people. I wrote up because I got the text of the book, so that's what I got. Who to read the Bible of Revolutionary. I copied and adapted those conditions to Lady Iman. She told me later that she read it and understood. She has been faithful to me, not never. All women who, in spite of the law, stay with their husbands and heroines of the struggle. So to them, I express openly that we all appreciate you and we believe at the fullness of time. So what will be done on all of you individually and collectively to celebrate and recall your commitment, your dedication, and support for the struggle. I thank you.
Community services at the university level and nearly 1 100 research publications in peer-reviewed books and learning journals. I'm going to stop here, but please make welcome our reviewer for today, Professor Rotimi. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Distinguished Chairman, Comrade Chair, and the Minister of Interior Affairs, celebrant of today, and his amiable wife, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and comrades in the house. It's a great honor for me to present a review of this book, Breaking Coconuts with Your Head, Akọ̀wé's Journey in Student Unionism. It is a 41-page book and published by Great Tentacles Integrated Limited. Mr. Chairman, sir, today is World Mental Health Day. Therefore, when an individual who is very sane decides to stop a moving articulated vehicle with his bare hands, then what do we say? What happens when an individual allows someone else to break coconut on his head? Perhaps that is frightening. However, what happens when you break the coconut with your head? Possibly the result will be different, because there's a remarkable difference between allowing someone else to break the coconut on your head and then breaking the coconut with your head. Accordingly, the reason we are gathered today is because Lanre Arogundade did not allow someone else to break the coconut on his head. Rather, he broke several coconuts with his head. The choice of the title of the autobiography is therefore very intentional and most apt. Intentional in the sense that when you break the coconut with your head, it tells of the very hard choices that you deliberately make, for which, of course, you are very well prepared to bear the consequences. Again, breaking the coconut with your head requires that you use your head, that is your senses, to carry out a task without getting consumed in the assignment. Even at this, when you break the coconut with your head, you are most likely to experience some degree of headache. The coconut with your head is the story of a young man who deliberately steered the honest nest. Like the Yoruba would say, ọmọ tó bá túlé àpọ́n ló mọ̀ pé àgọ́ pa wọn. Now, when you steer the honest nest, you should be prepared for the big fight. A child who tries to hug the bees in their hive will necessarily experience this attack. The good thing about it all is that this Akọ̀wé did not act alone. He acted in concert with other equally revolutionary, progressive youths and patriots who, like the obstinacy of a buffalo, took on a monstrous state apparatus, at one time civilian, at the other the military, and came out, though bruised in the battle, but not killed. Who is this personage who broke the coconut with his head? The man who broke the coconut with his head and lives to tell the story must really be an enigma. The onomastics of Akọ̀wé is found in chapters 1 And two, why the madness in quotes of the secretary or the writer, different meanings of Yoruba word Akowe, for breaking the coconut with his head is scattered in other different chapters of the book. Right from his early days in the elementary school, the precocious boy called Lanre already made up his mind so very early in life and told everyone who cared to listen, including his peers in the classroom, that Akowe lèmi ó ṣe akọ̀wé, that is, I will be a writer. You will see that on page 4 of the book. By the time the reader gets to the final chapter, this Akowe has established himself as an accomplished secretary and writer and an uncompromising student union leader, but not Akowe Olujoba, quote, that is the troublesome secretary, as Professor Wambi Abibola, then Vice Chancellor of the University of Ife, will have warned the reader to believe. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now present Breaking the Coconut with Your Oil, the Akowe's journey into student unionism, the autobiography of Lanre, Arogundade, radical student union leader, former secretary general of student union, great university of Ife, legendary president of National Association of Nigerian Students, 1983-84 session, and human rights and free press advocate, former chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Aschapo, and the Republic newspaper, and chairman NUJ Lagos State chapter, revolutionary, patriot, and orator of the finest global standard, writer, journalist, who in school and out of school remains a thorn in the flesh of the oppressing class. Transacting breaking coconut with your head. Mr. Chairman, please permit me to take the would-be reader through breaking the coconut with your head. The 401-page autobiography is organized around 12 distinct but interrelated chapters, plus an extraordinary epilogue. The book is crafted around the following themes: Lanre's early life, chapter 1; baptism into student unionism, chapter 2; from local to national student unionism, chapter 3; battle for the soul of man, chapters 4 to 6; consolidation and man's leadership, chapter 7; the jackpot on man's neck, chapters 8 and 9. Lanre swallowing the NSO bait and becoming the most wanted true union leader, chapters 10 and 11. Unionism as a way of life, chapter 12. Then the author's introspection and retrospection, that is in the epilogue. Okay, the context of the book was set in the Ondo State then, but now it is state where Lanre Arogundade was born and had his early life. Of course, with all the diversity that we have in southwest Nigeria, including religious diversity. That's why he grew up becoming both a Christian and attempting to join with the Christian faith as the Alpha Lanre. Now, no wonder Lanre's background has prepared him for an assignment in life where he would break his head with the coconut several times. His parentage was rooted in the Arogundade, Ogini, Osugbo family of Ijebu-Kesha and Ilesha, present-day Osun State, moved to Osi-Ekiti, now Ekiti State, where Lanre was born. His father, Thomas Akinyemi Arogundade Akinyonikoko, that is a cocoa merchant, was a man of means, along with his mother, now seated, Anna Arogundade, ever so beautiful, faithful, supporting mother, spiritually and materially, even as a prayer warrior, brought Lanre up with all care and love. The seed of religious tolerance in Lanre was sown by his father, Akinyonikoko, who tolerated Lanre's romance with Islamic faith, and did not forget to lapidate Lanre's sister, becoming a full-fledged Muslim and getting married to a Muslim. You see that on page 6 of the book. Here you see Lanre growing up as a member of the church choir at St. Paul's Anglican Church, but jumping the physical and religious way to, partaking in the Muslim prayer. Hence, he was hailed by his peers as Lanre during the street-to-street Islamic evangelism, page 6. But later in life, when he became a Marxist, Lanre is born with a difference because he's a theist Marxist, not an atheist Marxist. Used in chapter 1, appropriately termed, the money illuminates the day to Lanre's most impressionist day of life. However, the author's early encounter with Atoka, the Yoruba News magazine, provoked his interest in the writer's work order, that is in print journalism. It was not surprising that during a drama session in the elementary school that he proudly rendered a song which he had sung, ẹ̀yin ẹgbẹ́ mi akọ̀wé lèmi ó ṣe, I will be a writer. You will see that on page 4. Similarly, when the young Lanre proceeded to Ekiti Parapọ̀ College, Ido-Ekiti, his secondary education, his oratorial prowess was incubated when he was exposed to intercollegiate later school television debates. He was an avid reader of best of the literature in the African Writers series and many more. Life often comes out as a self-fulfilling prophecy. Lanre is today living his prophecy. He is now Akọ̀wé, as the writer of Global Review, and was a powerful Secretary General of Great Investment Union and later announced President. The infantile students protest. It started when Lanre was in the secondary school, when he was drafted into an anti-government demonstration by the teachers in his province. Of course, at the end of the day, that was just a baptism of water for Lanre, but subsequent events saw him getting more and more involved in student demonstrations. First student union protest at Ife was one of them, when as a 100-level student, Lanre joined the demonstration against the current mother of a university undergraduate at Ife, and in the process, Lanre was hit with the butt of the gun, apart from direct shots of the canister fired at him.
To be here, you cannot disobey the order. Your former teacher, Professor Lee, has ordered you to join us.
Ta ló tan náà náà?
Oh, he's making his way down here.
Please join us. This is teaching our vocabulary. Yes, Madam. Yes, thank you, madam.
This is the point where you will be being launched. And I'm taking charge.
We get back to traditional rulers in Ghana. We bless the people for the revolutionaries to read and for the future generations to know what this country has passed through. It's a book to be read and must be read.
Open on your head by the birthday boy. The birthday offering.
Let us settle down, please. I'm not the best of my I'm not the best of my I'm not the best of my We're not done yet. We're still gonna talk about the cake, the birthday cake. We're still gonna take solidarity messages before we round off. On the top of the cake, we take solidarity messages and then we round off. We're still gonna take solidarity messages.
Space like that, we have to ask them to be a witness, and we have to respectfully ask His Royal Highness to join, to come be a Leburo of Leburo. Kábíyèsí sir. His Royal Highness makes his way to where he is with his lovely Olori.